Good morning, it's great to be with you. I hope when you get here you will know you're amazing, and I hope you'll share this with someone who needs to be reminded that they're great without expectation of anything in return for the compliment. I just say, hey, I'm getting ready for my day, and so I'd like to invite you to come along and join me for the day. We'll wait to get on our way until we have shared this with a couple groups, and then we say it is true that we have some exciting things coming up the next 48 hours. Self-care days matter. Hey, it's great to be with you. I hope that you will enjoy who and whose you are today. It's true, I'm just inviting a few other people because self-care days matter. It's time for us to understand the gathering of hearts like it's happening now matters more than ever, and it's true. We are here to be who we came here to be. Who is that? I do not know for you, but I know for me. I'm here to sing the songs of my heart, just to let you know it's okay to do it imperfectly. And if you don't like that, that's okay. Just know that I'm a mirror for you, and I'm grateful you are here for as long as you stay. Updates for the next 48 hours as I get my hair ready. Would you like it sung? Evidently not, but that is funny. I could be offended, or I could know that sometimes my muchness is a little much. I hope that when you get this you will understand. The show goes on whether there's a fan or not. The day requires we get ready with the resources we have. Hello, my friends, it's time to straighten a few things out about what's going on right now. Self-care days matter, and so sometimes you gotta dress up just for you, no one else. It's not about looking pretty 'cause you're going out. It's about walking by the mirror and winking at yourself because you think you're cute because you did your best. That's what warriors do. If you haven't heard, the Peaceful Inner Warriors United is the movement. I'm inviting you to join in too, because it's time for us all to unite. Have you heard that there's 144,000 of us here to hold the light? We are here to fight the darkness of delusion. Disillusionment is when we show up and get offended because we had an expectation of something being other than it is. Well, whose fault is that? And in the end, that's when then we say, oh my. Self-care is what helps us fill the well of our own selves. Did you ever put the connection together? SELVES and the CELLS. That is what we choose to fill with faith or fear. Yes, likely you have if you have ever been near me. And then it is to say that this is your invitation to come tomorrow for the Peaceful Inner Warriors United Lawfully Organized Summit at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. when we will gather to talk about our rights, because if we don't know what our rights are, we don't got any. It's true, we gotta actually stand up for our rights and ourselves. Advocate for faith over fear. Be a way maker for the ones who look to you in your own life. It's true, you can be a miracle worker and promise keeper. We are ones who are impeccable with our word. It is true that there is a book I've been writing for 3.5, near 4 years. Next month it will be the 4th year when I was out in California driving to Vegas and then back down to Phoenix from there, when I decided I'd write a book and nearly invested more than I had. And when I then pulled out of that, I felt deflated but committed, and so I started the book. But then the book rewrote me because I lost sight of the purpose, and then became about writing the book, forgetting it was writing me at the same time. And so is the journey. You gotta learn to find the joy in the journey. That's why I'm reading out Saint Germain on Okami on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we read Saint Germain. He will be able to help you be the conscious co-creator of your reality. You can straighten things out better with your soul as to how the universe operates. I hope that you've had a good time this morning, and now you are going off into your day to do your thing. And it's true, the Friday there's an incredible opportunity, and no one's here to hear it, but I'm gonna say it anyway, because Jesus is a man I am curious about, because I've never understood him, so I wanted to know why his story is significant, why his life mattered so much, what he came to do. And now we will be able to understand that when we gather with Michael Seegers, he will be able to help us. It will be at 7 p.m. on Friday. You can join in. Welcome, I am grateful to have you with me today as we straighten a few things out. Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're gonna talk about who was Jesus and why was his story so important. I don't know about you, but I'm curious, and so I've called on Michael Seegers, and we've got the Michael and Laura show. It is true that we have about 25 episodes on there that I've posted so far on the playlist that's on ljeh.ca. Now there's a link under blog, and you can go and check it out. There's so much there. And he and I started with the first episode about spiritual warfare, the nature of evil, with A-E-VEIL. It's true. What do you think you see? Because there's something in the way between you and the truth. It's true that we have to understand what is true. And what we've come to think is that only because that was what we were taught when we were new. The first 7 years are formative, the impressionable years when we don't have a conscious mind to discern the information we receive, so we think that it is all true because that was what they said around us, and so it went straight into the filing cabinet of the internet of your world. It is true. I guess I don't need to look away as I say what I'm about to do, and now I hear Bob, I think is getting up, which is wonderful because he can start his day. Do you ever think think about how messed up it is that the people that have spent their entire lives working towards being able to leave a legacy of an inheritance for people sometimes who value money more than who the person leaving them that money actually is. And it's just like, they get locked up in nursing homes, and then they're forced to take these insane experimental injections that are part of the depopulation agenda. It's absolutely maddening. Like, read the Rockefeller Report from 2010, and in fact, the new Druthers magazine, I just actually read that there is a man that's going to do a whole dissection of it so that we can see it, because it's just like, I've been saying, read the Rockefeller Report, but people don't read it. And it's just kind of frustrating, because it's just like, I've been telling you the truth. But there's actually a story, a parable, about truth and lies being in the tub together. But it was ancient days, so they're out in a bath in a public area, but it's kind of private, right? And so basically truth and lies are hid together. Hey Gord, you might have heard this story when we were at the Freedom Rally on Saturday. And basically lies jumps out of the tub and then runs away with truth's clothes, and then dresses up as truth, and then everybody thinks lies is cute because lies looks perfect, because that's what truth tried to be. And truth is always noble, but truth was left naked. And when she emerged from the tub, everyone was just like, cover yourself, woman. And everyone was so ashamed of her because she was exposing herself. And they were so offended because they chose to be. And it's just like, don't you understand that, like, our body is not offensive. Our body is beautiful. It's only because of the shame that we have worn as the evil over top of who we see ourselves to be, the veil of truth, the veil between us and truth, the one that presents itself as such but isn't. It's like Michael Seegers with the Michael and Laura show. Michael has been teaching me about false hierarchy and things that are dressed up as what is good but not. It's like the devil comes giving you everything that you wanted, but you have to choose whether you're going to go for it and trade a piece of your soul, or whether you're going to just understand what it is. Harender, awesome to see you this morning. I can't see you, but you can see me. Do you ever do an accent because it's fun? I do. I like to perform sometimes just to say I can do it a different way. And then that's when we drink to being different, celebrating our uniqueness, and then coming out when we actually go live and talk about Jesus on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be incredible. I hope you can join tomorrow at 4 p.m. We're coming together. We started with Article 61 of the 1215 Magna Carta, which is the People's Protection Clause in the original forever binding Charter of Rights and Freedoms, Constitution. And so essentially what we learned by getting involved with what is now the International Practical Lawful Dissent group, and Jackie Phoenix and Mary Eddy were very helpful in all of that, and hopefully will still come along. But like, we're just kind of, we learned about, you swear the oath of allegiance to the Constitution instead of the Crown, which is a corporation. And then once you've sworn your allegiance to the Constitution, then you actually send your notices off, which are letters that were written by David Robinson over the 20 years, where he basically figured out the truth and then tried to expose it in a way that didn't feel offensive to people who were looking to be offended. And so you send out the letters to, which are notices, they're not letters. And I was very much corrected at the beginning of this because I didn't understand. But like, you have to get everything signed, and you want to make sure that you're doing it in purple ink or red ink, because purple is sovereign and red is blood. And then black and blue are corporate dead entities. So we're giving away our power when we're doing that. And when we're also signing things that we don't want to sign, but we're doing it out of duress, we need to put 3 dots in front of our name, just FYI. 3 dots in front of your name will actually make it so that then they understand that you were under duress when you signed that. Or you can put V.C before your name. If it's like absolute duress or like beyond duress, like it's like die or, then you put VC, I think. But I'm just learning as well. But this is the thing. Like, if we don't know our rights, we don't have any. And if we don't know what exists, it doesn't. If it's not in our reality, it's not available to us. In order to have access, you have to have awareness. I have been working on trying to get all of my work into one space for so long that it has completely held me back, because I have 4 years of work to get through in order to get to making sure all of it's in one place. And why does it need to be? You know? Like, why do we need to feel like we need to do all of it at once? Why do we feel like we need to have gotten to the end in order to talk about it? Because it leaks energy. That's why. That was an important lesson that I learned. And so as we wrap up today, I'm going to say, be careful who you tell what you're working on too. And understand that your creative babies, let us straighten this out, metaphorically, literally. Our creative babies are essentially our children. And we have to really understand that if we're bringing them into an environment with jealous people, what do jealous people do? Do jealous people lovingly care for and coddle that child? No. Good morning, Pooples! Oh, that's wonderful. No, jealous people do not coddle anything other than their own ego, which is edging God out so that they can get closer to what they believe to be source, which is the externalized ways that they have come to perceive power. And so there's so much to all of this that we have to come to understand. And I've been writing a book about all of it, not understanding that I was preparing for it, and my journey was teaching me horrendously difficult lessons because I chose to get there faster than everyone else, unnecessarily. WTF. Like, I put myself through the absolute emotional ringer for the last 2 years, and my family too, which is like, you know, there's a lot of scorched earth around me. And it's just like, frig. Am I happy about that? No. But is it important right now to take a stand? Absolutely. Are people not liking me for it? You better believe it. You better believe it. Are people waiting for me to fall? Yeah, a lot of them. But you know, there are others who are rooting for me, and I appreciate them. And I say the same is true for you too. So I say, if you are available and you want to know how to recognize warriors, if you want to be able to know who the warriors are in your realm, then you need to come out tomorrow at 4 for the Lawfully Organized Summit, because that's where we're going to dig deeper, not only into the 1215 Magna Carta with the Article 61 People's Protection Clause. Bless you! We're also going to look at some other spiritual tools. So of course I would bless him in the moment that I was explaining, right? The symbolic significance of everything is there for us if we have eyes to see it. Real eyes. What's actually happening in your space. And that's when you'll realize that everything is here to serve us. And it only looks like it's happening to us because we're not gaining the lessons from it. Bless you again! Lots of blessings. So. There's a moment of realizing something that you don't share or say out loud. So, here we are. I send you love and blessings as well. And blessing Papa also after his sneezing. And let us be grateful to have come together today, to have the opportunity to come together tomorrow at 4. If you want to listen to Saint Germain on alchemy, I'm reading the next part of that at 7 o'clock as per usual. I usually do an hour reading, so I've done it for about the last many weeks. We've read The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, which was excellent and highly recommended reading. It doesn't take long. It only took me like 2 nights worth of reading. So really short, and you can literally listen to those if you'd like to. They're on YouTube under the playlist Books Read Aloud or something along that line. And then we then read The Aura by Kuthumi, which is like the first pillar in the teachings of the Ascended Masters, which Michael Seegers introduced me to. And then the next pillar is the one we're reading with Saint Germain on Alchemy, which is pillar 2 and 3, because there's 2 books in one. And then after that, then we get into advanced studies of the aura, which it really introduces you to the idea of your magnetic field and your auric field and your energy field and all of these things. So very exciting opportunities available for us to connect. On Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Shambhala Temple of Light does have its Sundays, or it does have its beginners broadcast as well, so you can actually come along and decree for an hour. I am not committing to it just yet because self-care is important, and making sure that I moderate and monitor my own energy levels matters at this time, because I am working on my own projects that I'm keeping close to my heart. However, I sometimes do Zoom, where you can actually join in. So if that's going to happen, I will post it on Meetup right before, within half an hour before the actual time frame. So if it's not up within half an hour, then I'm not going to be Zooming it myself, but certainly you'll be able to go onto Mixlr. And if you create a Mixlr account, then you can actually see the other community members and be logged in yourself. And if you don't want to be actually seen on there per se, but you just want to listen along, you can do it at ShambhalaTempleOfLight.com. And then just halfway down, you can listen to live broadcast and just click the play button. And then at 7 p.m. until 8, you'll be able to listen to Michael work with the decrees and then the dictation as well that you get from someone. I'm not sure who's on the program this Saturday, but you can actually get the program right above the live stream link on the ShambhalaTempleOfLight.com website. And that's where you can actually open it up, and then you can read along and use the decrees, which is what I will stream if I do the Zoom live. So if you're interested in doing some singing and chanting and, being on screen with me on a Saturday night, that is a pretty fun way to do it. And if there's more people who are interested in actually doing that, then I'd be glad to do it. It's just kind of, I got a lot of things in evenings going on, so it's just figuring out whether I like to do it on that Saturday night as well. So it's all about figuring out what works for you. And I was listening to someone named Elizabeth April on YouTube who has some really interesting work, and she was actually talking about obligation. And obligation is the dysfunctional opposite of irresponsibility, where you've spent what you didn't have and now you're responsible for paying for something you've maybe already enjoyed. And then it's outside of the constraints of constraint and freedom, which are the functional polarity of obligation and irresponsibility. So being very intentional and aware of functional and dysfunctional creative spectrums, and where our emotional energetic state is at when we're actually creating, because that is literally the energy that we're putting into what we're doing. So hey, Ange, awesome to see you this morning. Amazing. I hope you have a spectacular day. I was just about to wrap this up, but it's always great to hear what you have to say. And if you would like to give a word of blessing to the people, I'd be glad to have you type something that I'd read, and anyone else too, because in the scheme of things, we are who are here to support one another. Just at work. Hope you have a great day too. Amazing. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for battling through the difficulty in all of the constraints that are not just, that are not lawful, and that are not okay. And so this is when we have to really say yes talk soon for sure. Thursday at 4, if you're able to come, that's when we've got the Lawfully Organized Summit for Peaceful Inner Warriors United. 7 p.m. is when I do the reading of Saint Germain on Alchemy, continued from the last ones. You're welcome to join. And then on Friday night, if you can make it, there's the it's literally, we're talking about Jesus. Who was Jesus? And why did his legacy matter? Or why did his story matter? Or why was his story important? I can't remember how specifically I phrased it, and I need to get better. But seriously, 7 p.m. Friday night, like, we can join together. And then if you wanted to do the Shambhala Temple of Light broadcast for the beginners class with the decrees to really strengthen our energy fields, which are going to be part of the special practice that I'm introducing for the Peaceful Inner Warriors United movement with the course that I'm creating for Udemy too. So off to work, try my best to get on board. Woo, yes! It's always huge value when you come because you bring such light and energy, because like, you're the lighthouse in your area, my friend. 7 p.m. it is. Woo, yes! So that's both tomorrow and Friday. So yeah, if you can make either, amazing. If you can make both, even better. But certainly it's really a time when warriors just need to be able to recognize each other. And so then it's creating the space to be able to have us come together and have us say, like, let's choose people over profits. Let's choose and like get over our limiting stuff so that we stop making it about, you know, how we get our value from the money that we have in the bank account or don't, and the things that we have as a result of the how much we spend, like this consumerism that is eating away at our soul. Like, we really have to understand how that has all been used against us. And did you guys actually know about, literally, there is a YouTube series now that they've started called A World Without Canada, because this is the hotspot that they want. And this land particularly that I stand on, hey Alicia, amazing to have you here. And literally, the land that we stand on, Alicia's in Simcoe, we were both at the Superstore and got released on the same day, January 15th, because we won't mask ourselves. And yeah, basically the land that we stand on is so valuable because this is where we feed a lot of the country, a lot of the world. And if we can't produce in the summer the way that we're used to, it's going to create food supply interruptions. I was at a rally that farmers hosted yesterday where over 250 tractors showed up, which in itself, you know, you've got the irony of like how much is put into all of that and like how much is on the line, and you can see it right there because the farmers have had to upgrade and upgrade and upgrade and upgrade in order to stay in the game. And so they've been put to the very edge of debt capacity, many of them. And it's just like, oh my God, like how they're putting restrictions on this area particularly, where you can only have three guys coming in, offshore labor coming in for the summer. You can only have 3 of them coming in on the same vehicle, even though all of them came in on the same plane. So it just makes it more difficult for the farmers to have to do this to adhere to protocol. And then they're talking about like, well, then maybe we'll just have to make the health unit resign, and then they're going to like potentially put in military operations or something in order to govern and control, or make it so that the farmers won't be able to sell anything because it wasn't monitored well enough, or they can blame it all on the migrant workers coming in, so that the next season it won't even be a possibility for any of them to come in. And so this year is an issue and the farmers are protesting with their tractors, but like next year the farmers won't have tractors to actually drive to the rally if we don't band together now. And we can't say, well, you know, I've got, you know, we can't think about what we're giving up, because what we don't realize is we've already lost the world that we thought that we had before. Like the world that we may have had before doesn't exist anymore. Like things have changed drastically, and the land that we're fighting for is not just the earth, but our own cells. Literally, there is a Trojan horse mechanism that Dr. Sherry Tenpenny talks about in the message she is trying to get to the world, to say that gene therapy that is disguised as what is a V is ultimately the way that they can clump ones who are saying this is not a vaccine in with the anti-vaxxers group to make us look just cray-cray, and then to make us a label. And I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I don't want synthetic in my system, but I certainly don't want mRNA altering synthetic in my system. And I don't want it in anyone's. I don't want it in anyone's system, because ultimately what we're told scientifically, and what we have to understand, is that science is simply the best hypothesis that has been proven to date until a better one comes along and proves it, just like with philosophy. The only differentiation is the value and merit we have learned to attribute to it because of our conditioning. And when we understand that, when we understand that everything is conditioning, that is when we understand that what we tolerate, the next generation embrace. And this is not a standard that they can embrace. The lack of humanity here, the amount of suffering, how they'll be able, literally, there is a picture that I had taken of a meme that I don't share only because I don't want to get banned from the platform, though how do you not speak about what's happening and then out of fear of not getting banned, but then at the end it's just like you get banned anyways. Like at first I didn't say anything because of this reason, and then I didn't say anything because of this reason, and then I didn't say anything because of this reason when they came up to pick up everyone else. But then when they came for us, there was no one left to stand up because we didn't speak up for anyone else and they didn't speak up, and then it's just like we're separated. And when we're isolated, we're vulnerable. Ants die on their own. We're like ants. We need something to belong to. We need to be able to contribute. We have to understand that we're the 144,000 souls that are here to uplift humanity. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. There is no savior coming. We're the ones that got to do it. And that's why we need to gather. And that's why I did this message this morning. That's why I say thank you for showing up when you did, for as long as you did, for watching this later. Whatever feels best for you, I encourage you to do, and then simply say, hey, it's another day, so enjoy it. Because if you enjoy it, you bring the joy from within, and then you get to match that joy in this magnetic universe on the world that you would experience and embrace as a result of it. So thank you, and have a good one. Toodaloo. Lori J. Namaste. Namago.